need to do this.
I don't see it live on my Twitch, but it says live at the top, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're live.
All right.
Yeah, we are live. Sorry,
Yay!
folks. We had a bit of a delay with our technical issues. If you heard some banter before we hit the go live, we had to kind of adjust some things. But this is episode, I guess, interview show number 13. No, yes, it is 13. With which actually this is my first time interviewing someone who is running for public office on the left, because normally I would do interviews with fellow content creators. So as we are in the midst of an election, a week from today, next Monday, if you can believe that, and if you haven't done your early voting, I would probably make that a suggestion.
Why not? Why have you not done your early voting?
I mean, I honestly shouldn't talk because I was gonna do it today and slept in, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm supposed to go early vote today. But so I'm here with, I guess I could just say, you could just ask who you are, say who you are.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm not sure if this is streaming on my Twitch, but hey y'all. My name is Annie Fitzgerald. My pronouns are she, her, and I am running for state representative in Washington's 38th district, position 1. And I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I saw some of the reason why actually I wanted to say that I wanted to interview you was I had seen you on the Letterhack stream and on Jake from What You Could Do. I think What Can You Do? Unfortunately, you are not streaming on your Twitch for some reason, but
no.
yeah, I'm actually looking at it now, and I was like, wow. Atticus says, yeah,
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. It's like we're still having technical problems with this whole thing. You know, there was a different way we did it earlier, and you know, that's just restream for you. I've been using this thing for 4 years, and it just still hasn't worked the same way because they keep changing everything, and like my PC is like 2 years old. Or will be 2 years old, and it's just like, ugh. I don't know if it's on its last leg. I think it's hanging on there. It's hanging in there basically. We also have some people in my chat. Say hello
chat.
to Fuzzy Slippers on YouTube and Atticus Among Us. I hope I said that right. On Twitch. And says, yeah, I apologize, Atticus. I apologize. Yeah. I shouldn't talk. I actually was talking with my relative yesterday about going to early vote because he did as well, and he reminded me to do that. And then today, actually, I was doing my laundry uh, this morning, and then in my apartment door, there's a little slip in the office on the office door that says um, "Remember to go vote," and has my polling place of when to do it. I'm like, well, looks like I'm going to be voting on Tuesday, like everybody, like everybody else. But I'm also going to get there early uh, to actually stay in line and do my thing, do our thing basically.
Mhm.
Um, so with that, got that banter out of the way. I mean, I'm used to just diving into these questions, which I have to be honest with you, I had a hard time kind of coming up with questions. Again, this is the first
It's
time
all good.
that like
Don't worry
again
about
that
it.
I've had somebody that's actually running on the left as a political candidate running for office. And so um so I thought long and hard about these questions, and yeah, it's a lot. Mm,
Take your
it was
time.
difficult, I guess. It was
It's all
difficult.
good.
So, um,
No worries.
so you're running for a state. You're running for and I'm probably gonna mess up too. So, uh, please forgive me on that. I do get a little nervous every now and then. I actually told a friend I was nervous doing this, but
You got
you know,
this. It's
oh,
all
thank
good.
you. I guess I've done this for 4 years, and it's just like you think I'd have the hang of it now, and sometimes the confidence takes a while to kick in. So
You got it. You got this. Let's
yeah,
go.
and the good time. The good thing also is I have dual monitors now, so I can actually see the stream as it's happening off to the side here. So if I look off the side, that's just me making sure because I have YouTube and Twitch tabbed that it's actually working. So like right now, I'm looking at it and it's working good. Um, that's the thing with having this and not having to use OBS because OBS just doesn't always work
Mm.
for me anyway, and as a game streamer. So, yeah, you're running for the state seat, which
Mhm.
is
In the state
again what
house. Yeah.
state house, 38th district in Washington State. Where
Mhm.
at in Washington? I must ask.
So, that is just north of Seattle by about 40 minutes on a good day. With good
Nice,
traffic. It covers Everett, Tulalip, and Marysville, Washington.
nice.
Yeah.
So I guess the question I would ask, tell a little bit about to the audience to meet myself
Mhm.
as a potential voter. I mean, I don't live in Washington State, but I live in Missouri.
Mhm.
Very red state, also.
Oh.
Um, I mean, I've been voting in elections since I was 18, so about in 2010. So
Mhm.
undeniably, it's going to go Republican. I can confirm. Stranger things, no pun intended, have happened.
Mhm.
But so I guess to tell a little bit why about your campaign that you're running, because you are running as a left alternative to your opponent, whose
Oh
name
yes, I am running as a democratic socialist.
as am
Openly.
I. As am I. I mean,
Uh,
I'm a small D Democratic socialist, but
mhm.
um, yeah. Sorry to
Um,
interrupt you there. Go
no,
ahead.
no, no, it's all good. It's all good. So I am running openly as a democratic socialist. That was really important to me. So I've been thinking about running for the last couple of years. And uh I finally this year was like, you know what, with the threat of Trump, with the threat of fascism, um, it's time. It's time to run.
Mhm.
And I had people doubting me. I had, at the start, people were like, "Are you sure you can handle that with all your disabilities?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I can handle it." Um, and uh, I you know, uh, like decided in like January. Well, technically, like I was telling family members at Christmas last year that I was going to run, but
Hmm.
I started like really like looking into what I would need to do in like January and February. By March, I was like signed up with the PDC, which is the financial reporting organization where you have to report like your donations and expenditures. I had set up, campaign bank account, all that kind of stuff. Um, and I knew like right then that this district and Washington State needed more progressives in our state legislature because we have Washington is a pretty blue state. However, um, Eastern Washington is fairly red. So uh, Washington will stay blue, but there are a lot of Republicans in the state Senate and state House as well. So unfortunately, we have quite a few Democrats that are very like what I call vote bot Democrats, where they essentially vote along party lines. They never deviate, they never challenge the status quo, and they just follow whatever the state party tells them to do, pretty much. And more or less, that's my incumbent. His name is Julio Cortez, and he's very much a Democrat vote bot.
Hmm.
He really votes along party lines. He says that he supports. I mean, in a recent interview, he called himself a Democrat with progressive values, and I'm like, okay, but what does that mean? like
Right.
it's very interesting that he would say that he's a Democrat first, and then say that he's got progressive values, and it's like, the fuck you do, man? You're like, sorry, I don't know if I
Yeah.
can.
No, no, it's fine. That's you. You're
uh,
you're allowed to do that here. No
okay,
worries.
I'm like, the fuck you do? Like, he doesn't support universal health care. He doesn't support. I'm pretty certain he won't support a UBI. It's like you can't call yourself a progressive and accept corporate donations. I'm sorry,
True.
like
Hmm.
you can't be part of the progressive club and take corporate money. I'm sorry, like
Yeah,
we
you
don't
can't
want
be
to.
part of the socialist club either. Like, imagine
Mm-hmm.
if he were to call himself a democratic socialist and then do that. Because, I watched your stream, I think the day before yesterday, where you were actually laying out the donations of corporate money from different places that he
Mm-hmm.
has gotten. And I think I pointed out in your chat because he was getting donations from places like Boeing and
Yep.
Amazon, and shockingly enough, here comes DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
Just for people who have to use that by default. I don't begrudge that, but the fact that he is taking donations, corporate donations from big companies, big like pharmaceutical company, big like organizations, and also
Mm-hmm.
taking from like as far as like healthcare, like big pharma,
Right.
while people
And
are struggling.
and multiple like business associations as well. Like it's not just corporate money, it's like business association money as well.
Hmm.
And I've made it very clear from the start of my campaign that I have not and I will never take any business association money, corporate money, um, and if elected, I will continue that promise because um, I'm running for the people in my district. I'm not running to serve corporations.
Amen.
Um,
Like solidarity with you. I mean,
yeah.
as an outsider, it's like we need people to represent the people for the people by the people, not their special interests or their donors or their big lobbyist. Uh,
Mhm.
it would say that those days are numbered, but we've had we've heard that scheme before. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw up Atticus Among Us says, uh, if I can't throw it up, taking corporate money is non-progressive. I completely agree, Atticus. And I also feel like the progressive label, because I called
Mhm.
myself a progressive for a long time, has been in a lot of ways damaged by the current person in the White House. Uh,
Yes.
he went into office and claimed to be progressive, and from my point of view, and I think a lot of other people's point of view, at least in my uh generation, I should say,
Mhm.
not trying to like sound ageist or anything, have been like he's basically putting neoliberals, centrist like conservative democrats, centrists, is playing that off as progressive, and someone who it cannot be fooled by either party, it can see right through that. And so
Mhm.
for me, that that uh, that point that Atticus was making is, yeah, the progressive label, taking that type of stuff is not a progressive. It's a conservative, basically. It's a
Right.
centrist. It's a
Right.
it's basically a progressive. I wouldn't even say progressive in name only, like just not even a progressive at all. Excuse me, I'm stuttering. Um, so yeah, that label has been like seriously just damaging, and has been
Right.
damaged for
And
4 years.
yeah, yeah, and I think that you know, in the last newspaper article I was in with him, with my incumbent, like I really like calling himself a Democrat with progressive values really stood out to me because he said things like, "Oh, universal health care would be nice. All these other things would be nice, but we have to essentially work within the system we have." And it's like, okay, but who is that system actually working for? The only people that system is the current system, the status quo is working for is wealthy people and corporations and big business. I mean, because we have um, a lot of crises happening in Washington right now, in
Mhm.
Washington State.
Yeah.
Um, we our like social safety net programs are completely outdated, um, and too many people like slip through the cracks when applying for services like Medicaid and SNAP benefits and WIC and other things, because the like mostly because like the income limit is so low that you have to be like pretty much living on the streets to qualify. Um, and um, like, so a lot of people are slipping through the cracks there. We have a caregiver shortage within Washington State. So people with disabilities, people who, um, require a caregiver to help remain independent and living in their homes, whether it's an adult or a child. There are not enough caregivers to take care of people right now. Um, there are a lot of major issues. Um, Washington has some of the most regressive tax code in the country. Um, and so, like, our state government is like many of the services within the state government are running out of money and having to make cuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening at the Department of Education. It's happening in transportation. It's happening in, Department of Health. It's happening across the board. And, we just had like, it was just approved. I believe it was this year. I'm not sure if it was this year or last year, a capital gains tax of 7%, which would really only apply to the ultra wealthy. And we already have a millionaire in Redmond, which is where Microsoft is, who has dumped $6 million into 4 initiatives that are currently on the ballot. Um, that and one of which would basically eliminate the capital gains tax. And it's like, the only people that is going to help is the wealthy. It's the only people that are going to be affected by that is the wealthy, and then there will be less funding in our state government. And like, our property taxes are pretty low, and other taxes are pretty low, and um, that's why we have, in Seattle alone, there are 50,000 millionaires. And across the state, there are 13 billionaires. Washington is a tax haven for the wealthy, and that needs to change.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's in a lot of ways it's the same way here, especially locally in Kansas City where I live. There's not a lot of incentives for people with disabilities in this town. I mean, as someone who is also, you know, just out of FYI, like I'm full disclosure, I am autistic. I am a person with a disability. I'm a minority, and yet I still have struggles. And even to this day, like I've been on living on my own for like almost actually it'll be 11 years. So I've been living on my own for for about a decade, and I still have help. I have a caregiver who is like my representative payee. He's been doing that for a decade. I have
Hmm.
someone who, I get services, shall we say, with an organization that helps me, just do everyday household task.
Hmm.
And it, it from what I've learned, and this is my perspective, it doesn't always apply to everyone. Not everyone gets the same benefits, and there's just an unfair scenario in the system that needs to change. Uh, Case in point, we probably have someone who is a mutual friend who is also a fellow streamer, and they have applied for disability benefits. I won't say
Hmm.
who this person is
Hmm.
because privacy reasons. Um, but they have gone through a system. The government system has denied them benefits despite actually proving that they are disabled,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Yeah, I get it. um,
and it just goes to show like the the system, because I actually this was a question I was going to ask like towards the end.
mhm,
But I guess just how just terribly ableist, just going to say it, the
mhm,
system is.
yeah,
And it's just it's terrible.
mhm,
And so again, I live in Missouri, but again, I've seen what you've done, in with social media and promoting your campaign and being on other shows, is that you've obviously got a good system going, basically. And so that's what really made me feel like, yeah, this person, this is the real deal. Like, you're the real deal. You actually you are an outsider uh running for office. That should be.
Right. And the thing is that one of the motivating factors for me deciding to run is the lack of disability representation
Mhm.
within the state legislature. There are a couple people with disabilities, but
Mhm.
I would be one of the first with, an openly obvious disability because I often use a wheelchair or a walker. So, to get around you know um and while we have uh people who are able-bodied, um can be wonderful allies. The thing is and um the thing is that it can be really hard to understand what the needs of the disabled are if you're not disabled and if you're not
Mhm.
facing a world that was not designed for us every single day. One of
Right.
the things that I have been working on throughout my campaign is meeting with like the public works director within the city of Marysville, also city council members within the city of Everett to discuss accessibility concerns. Within Marysville alone, there are 44,200 sidewalk ramps, and 3,600 of them are not up to ADA code.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
in the city of Marysville alone, um, there are approximately, when you factor in, like, this is data from the 2020 census, but if you factor in the number of people who are disabled, which is around under the age of 65, which is around 8 to 9,000 in a city of that's has 70,000 people. Um, and then there is also a large retirement community within the city of Marysville. So that's probably at least another 10,000. That's almost 20,000 people whose accessibility may be limited because simple accommodations like making sure ramps are up to ADA code. Like, that's the bare
Yep.
freaking minimum. Um,
Mhm.
like, when it comes to accommodations, that's the bare minimum. And unfortunately, um, in the cities that encompass my district, it's often an afterthought. It's often they wait for, like, in I'll give you an example. In the city of Everett, um, they go around and they check, like, sidewalks and all of that, but they also wait for people to actually complain about certain things, certain places or locations. And they don't exactly make it easy to find how to complain or where to complain on the city website.
Mhm.
It takes like a good 2 or 3 clicks through the website to find it. And so, it when that kind of thing happens, it comes across as it not being a priority or not being important enough. And when you don't have sidewalks, which again is the bare minimum when it comes to disability accommodations, when you don't have those up to code, it means that people in wheelchairs um, you know, can't get around. It means people who are blind, because you know how when you go to a sidewalk ramp and it has like usually it has like a yellow plate that has like bumps on it. That's not just for wheelchairs, that's there for people with vision disabilities. So
Mhm.
it's to alert someone with a vision disability that, hey, you're about to walk out into the street. Um, so it's also like audio signals that many intersections don't have, um, things like that. it really limits someone who has a disability. It limits their mobility, and that's not okay. um,
Right.
that's not okay. Um, but I want to, if it's okay, I want to kind of go back to what you were
No,
talking
no.
about as far as like caregiving and all that. Um,
Hmm. By
I
all means,
ap-
go ahead.
I applied for services early this year, um, to have someone be able to come in maybe once or twice a week, a caregiver come in, help me clean the house, help me run errands when I need help, things like that. Because um, I suffer from chronic pain and um, throughout my joints and stuff. And um, so some days are better than others, and some days I need a little extra help.
Yeah.
Well, they more or less determined that I was too high functioning because I could dress myself. I was too high functioning because I could bathe myself. They asked me questions about like things that I had done within the last 7 days. And it's like, yeah, I took a shower within the last 7 days, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna be well enough or have the capability to do that on my own within the next 7 days. Like,
Hmm.
so like I the two programs that they like applied that I applied for. One program I qualified functionally, but I made too much money with my SSDI benefits. And then
Hmm.
the other program was the exact opposite. So so they were like, "Oh yeah, with the other one, they're like, okay, yeah, you apply financially, but you're too high functioning." So it's
Wow.
like it's just a nightmare system.
Yeah, definitely. I can say that I relate to everything that you've just said because I've had similar uh, experiences, shall
Mhm.
we say, with people with the outside world or just individuals in the what we call the in real life world, not in
Mhm.
this community of like leftist people that have we've come to know and be friends with. I had an experience a couple about 4 or 5 years ago where I had a teacher asked me about my disability because I was in college and I would get the disability accommodations.
Mhm.
And I had an incident and this was like maybe a month or two into the spring semester. This was actually before everything shut down during COVID. Um,
Mhm.
so I was in the elevator going to the classroom with the teacher who just happened to it was a coincidence, it was the right place, the right time. Asked me about my disability and basically about like the aspect of it. And I said, I'm autistic, I have cerebral palsy, I have trouble going up and down stairs, you know. And his response, and this was also an older gentleman, was like, his was really? And I said, yes, yes, sir. And he said, doesn't really look like it. You look
Ugh.
normal to me.
Oh, I hate
And
that.
I didn't know how to respond. I mean, I
Mhm.
was just like shocked. I was speechless. But yeah, I hope you don't mind that story. That's just
No, no,
I just hearing that like just made me uh like go back to that time and was
yeah.
one of those times, like, I've had people in my life ask me, like, "What's wrong with your legs?" or something, and I've always been open about it, I've never hidden it. I've always been
Mhm.
open and honest, and most of the people, that I've become friends with in real life have, you know, been very understanding and supportive, like, they want to know, and I'm happy to tell them. It's just I guess it
Mhm.
must be like just I guess, who's gonna be the right person to tell, or whether or not either of us are going to be brave enough to, you know, reveal that because of whatever
Right.
reaction we're going to
Yeah,
get.
I've tried to be like I used to like I would have told that old man that, hey man, you know what? Sometimes disability is invisible. Sometimes you can't see it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not obvious. And I haven't always used a wheelchair or walker. Um, I mean, I've used a wheelchair and a walker on and off throughout my life, but I mean, I can walk, I can move around. Um, and like, you know, like for instance, if I'm just going to the grocery store or something, then maybe I can use a cart instead of my walker. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it's not,
Yeah.
it's, yeah, so it's not going to be as obvious all the time. And, I've had, I've had like disabled placards, so I can park in disabled parking my whole life. And I've
Hmm.
had older generations approach me before and ask me if that was my placard. And it's like, first of all, it's none of your business. Second, yeah, it's mine. And, you know, I, I try to be polite. I try to be patient, but sometimes I'm not. And I'm just like, you know, yeah, it's mine. And you know what? You need to go mind your business elsewhere. Um, and it's so I can relate to like both ends of the spectrum of having that invisible disability while and then having a visible, more obvious disability. Um, and sometimes I've even had people be like, you can walk, why do you need a wheelchair? And it's like, well, I need a wheelchair because I can't walk long distances, because I can't get tired. Like, you get tired of having to explain it.
Yeah.
Um, but because it's really not their business. Um, like I'm not gonna approach somebody using a wheelchair and be like, do you really need that? Like, and give them like the
Yeah.
third degree or whatever. Um, but I feel like some in our society don't understand that. So I try to be as patient as I can and just try to educate people. But I mean, there have been a few instances where I've just been like, go
Yeah.
away.
I mean, I would just like to clarify, like the people that I know personally, like that I've talked to in real life and online, like the friends I've made, all of them have been understanding and accepting and respectful.
Hmm.
It's just the teacher that I had, I have to clarify. The teacher that I had was, he was just an older gentleman, a much older
Yeah.
gentleman that, was asking, which, that's fine. He wasn't
Hmm.
offensive. It just it came off the wrong way. And it's
Yeah.
just again something that I was yeah, I was used to it basically, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
You definitely get
clarification.
used to it. You definitely get used to it as a disabled person, and that's why to kind of tie that back to my campaign, that's why we need more people with disabilities in our government, so that
Hmm.
we can help educate the public on um you know how to um how to approach people with disabilities, what's okay to say, what's not. And you know, um, I'm cool with people like asking like honest questions. I've been fairly open about my disabilities and my limitations throughout my campaign. I've had
Hmm.
to really alter my campaign in many ways. So, like traditional things like door knocking, um, things like phone banking haven't really worked in my campaign because I can't personally go and door knock. So I've kind of had to try and get creative and like try other avenues. So I've done things. That's why I, started streaming on Twitch. That's why I do a lot of posts on social media. That's why I had like town hall type events or
Mm-hmm.
I like in the public. I did quite a few of those during the summer. I would go hand out flyers outside of various events during the summer, things like that. And I've had to kind of think outside the box. How does one with a disability run for office? And we me and my team have kind of like you know had to be a little extra creative about that. And um so maybe I don't have as many like in-person public events as in a traditional sense, but I'm doing outreach on Reddit, I'm doing outreach on Twitch, I'm doing outreach all over online. I've done like multiple Twitch or Reddit Ask Me Anythings in my local like community. I've answered questions. So I tried to do a town hall with my incumbent, but he kind of wussed out of it. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I
how
think.
how how I guess is it how noble of him, but not in a good way.
Yeah, I originally asked him like on or his team on October 3rd, and I'm like, "Look, we can do this online. We can, do it from the comfort of your home. Just give me like 60 minutes. It doesn't have to be a super formal thing. We can just talk about the issues." And the reason why I asked him to do that is because he was invited to like multiple forums during the summer, and I only got a chance to do like one forum with him, and the questions were very scripted. We had very limited time to answer questions. We didn't get to like ask each other questions. So
Mm-hmm.
it was and he gave very politician-y answers. So I didn't
Right.
get really
Very
I really
DNC.
didn't.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, very very much like DNC talking points that mean nothing.
Right.
Um and flowery language that like sounds good but means nothing.
Right.
And
Right.
he hasn't really talked about policy on his website. He doesn't really talk about it that much publicly. So I thought, you know what, this would be a great opportunity. We can It doesn't have to be anything special or anything formal. We can just sit down and talk about the issues. I like was talking to his campaign manager between like October 3rd, and then I finally heard back from my incumbent Julio on October 15th, and he turned me down. Now, I suspect that he was
Mhm.
intentionally waiting to that point so that he could say, "Oh darn, we don't have any time. Oh no, only 2 weeks left. Whatever."
Trying to
That's just
weasel
my
their way
suspicion.
out of it.
Yes, and
Trying to weasel their way out of debating you or actually having
right,
sharing a
because I
stage
think
with you
right, because
because they
I think he knows that I would have challenged his positions and challenged his corporate donations. Um,
right.
so I think he
As we
was,
said, all the billionaire like corporate companies are giving money to his campaign, And you've basically done the opposite of that, which is basically stuck to the, I don't want to even say progressive because that word is now being overused, but I would just say leftist grassroots level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically taking
He's
like no money, like basically it's kind of like the thing with like taking money out of politics.
right.
And
And
Julio
I've
is his
only
name.
yeah, his name is Julio Cortez.
So
And I've made it very clear throughout my campaign that all of the donations I have received have been from individuals who support my
mhm,
campaign. Not a single donation from a business, corporate or otherwise. And I, have been very clear about that. Now, he has massively outraised me. He's got like 100K sitting in his campaign account. He's only used a very small portion of it. And I think I've raised, like, I got through the primary on $650, and then total I've raised about $1,500. And um, I'm very proud of the fact that I made it through the primary on $650, uh, because it really goes to show that, in certain races in certain districts, you don't need a lot of money to be successful. You need to
right.
you need to have policies that give people something to vote for.
Hmm.
And um
I would say
and
give them like not give them candy or not candy, like actual food.
mhm,
And that's what your opponent is doing. Your opponent, Julio Cortez is his name, is
yep.
giving his people, his potential people to vote for him just like little candy incentives. And asking
Right.
them to basically make big donation, like big, not only taking big corporate donations. Again, on your stream the other night, you had that long list of people of you know organizations and corporations just giving him, just putting it into his campaign pocket, but also
Mhm.
begging for potential voters to donate to his campaign, which is, in
Yeah.
my view, only going to make him more rich by the minute and going to make
Right.
the average citizen suffer.
And um those were his top donors. And the thing is that many of those donations were relatively small.
Mhm,
A couple grand here, a couple grand there. But to me, that's still enough where I'm like, okay, but when the legislature is in session, like, and he is putting forth legislation or voting on legislation, how much influence do those corporations have, even if it's just a couple grand here, a couple grand there? How much influence are they going to have over how he votes? And so
mhm,
that's why I'm very proud that I can say they will have no influence over how I vote because I don't take money from them and I never will. So I will be voting, if elected, I will be voting on things that I, feel are important to help rebuild the working and middle class. That is why I am a democratic socialist. Um, and that has been the backbone of my campaign, is that I support things like universal health care. I support a statewide UBI. Washington State is the ninth most expensive state to live in the country. Um, we have a lot of big money in Washington State. So we need something like a UBI to help people out. We need to increase the state minimum wage because right now the state minimum wage is only 16.28, and that is not enough to live on
mhm,
in the state. We need to provide more social housing, because there's a massive housing crisis, not just in the country, but in my district. in my district, in order to be able to buy a home, you have to be making 200K a year. And
Wow.
most people that I know, like, can't afford, don't make 200K a year. Um, so I mean, it's
This
it's
was
it's
me face palming
ridiculous.
basically because it's just yeah, I agree. It's just
I
really like the I mean, I keep saying corporate system because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's just so
Mhm,
greedy and so disgustingly, you know, just downright disgusting. I mean, I mean, how else are we supposed to say it that they're just taking, big corporations and big donors and asking potential voters for money while just letting the minority groups suffer
right.
and have to basically fend for themselves and then beg for us to vote for them. And it's like I'm glad that I've moved along in my political journey, at least on the left, because I've had a lot of life experiences. This is from my experience or not, but I'm sure that you had a similar experience as well, and
Mhm,
that's why you're obviously taking this shot at running for office in a great way, I should add. I've it's we need change in potential states like Washington State and in Missouri because it will affect the way politics locally
mhm,
could work could affect it nationally.
right.
And the old saying, which I stick to, which is all politics is local. It's like we should
Mhm,
stick to our local, our local. Let's take a look at what happens outside our windows and how local communities work and how that would affect the national overall political scene, if that makes sense.
right. And that's I've been a DSA, Democratic Socialist of America member for 5 years now, and
Yeah, I'm
that's why
am I mean,
that's why I encourage people to get involved with local organizing efforts. Seek out your local DSA chapter. And if you don't have one in your area, start one. Um,
yeah,
they
I mean
like,
that's as a card carrying DSA member, like that was the other question I was going to ask you whether or not you were a member of DSA.
mhm,
Um, I've been to a lot of things like working with my own chapter this last year, working as disability coordinator, trying to get people in at least in my and also in my state in my local community active about how do we make the community not only just politically but also as a whole, how do we make it better for the disability communities and
mhm,
how we could accommodate more things and change the way disabled people um are perceived in society and make in a good way, I should say. Um,
mhm,
but in fairness, like how can I say this? Um, I'm trying to choose my
mhm.
words carefully here. Um,
Okay.
I guess you could say I've parted ways with them a little bit. Like again, I'm still a card carrying member, but I have
Mhm.
started to have you know, my differences in some respects
Oh,
with
don't even
their
get me started on my differences.
yeah, I mean well, for me, it's like we're just trying to go along to get along. And
Mhm,
I don't know if you do like here in town in my chapter, we do a thing called Coffee with Comrades, which is like a thing every like first Wednesday of the month. We get together at a local coffee shop and we just like basically hang out as a community and talk about just different things and different issues. And,
mhm,
I've sort of had some disagreements with some member not like said it vocally, but I've sort of started in my head like have these sort of disagreements with you know the way things like we as a whole as a left should should prosper forward in a post-Bernie era movement. And
Right.
the going along to get along thing kind of really has, irked me in a way. But that's all I'll
Oh yeah.
say. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I'm not gonna do a complete teardown, but
no,
like
no.
again,
I
I'm
mean,
still a registered member, and I'm still proud of a lot of the stuff that they do. It's just that there are things where I think we could be a little bit better at this, if I was being
well,
honest.
yeah, no. Um, yeah, no. DSA is not perfect. Um, in fact, I have experienced some ableist attitudes within my own chapter. And I don't think it was intentional ableism. I think it was just people not realizing. Um,
Mhm,
and earlier this year, in March, I decided it was time to form a healthcare and disability justice working group.
mhm,
And I was able to get support from people to vote to form the working group. However, it has been really difficult getting people engaged or willing to participate. Now, I'm not knocking my chapter. We've had quite a bit of things going on at the same time, and we're a relatively smaller chapter, so
mhm.
like it's understandable. But like when we voted to form it, I actually had members that like got angry with me because I was calling out the fact that um there were some ableist issues and that we needed things like we needed stuff like a disability accommodations request form for all chapter activities because we don't have one. And we have had disabled members in the past or disabled people in the past that wanted to join but couldn't participate because we didn't have or we didn't have the capacity to provide the accommodations that they needed. And um, that was really upsetting for me coming, back into the chapter because I started out in my local chapter here. Then I moved to Florida for like 2.5 years and was doing DSA down there. And then I came back and rejoined the chapter I was in before. And don't get me wrong, we do a lot of great work. We have a labor working group that has supported a bunch of local strikes, including the local Boeing strike. And we do a lot of good work. We have a polyed group that has like a book club. We have a lot of things going on within the chapter. We supported a campaign for Everett Deserves a Raise, which was a initiative that is on the ballot to raise the minimum wage within Everett to 2024 an hour. Um, and so we've done like a lot of really good things, but um, it's been a bit of a challenge to like try to get people engaged in the working group that I initiated. Now, I will also say that there have been multiple months since the working group was formed that I was busy with campaign stuff and I couldn't run meetings and stuff like that, because I'll tell you right now, campaigning is a full-time job. It is a
Yeah,
full-time
yeah.
unpaid
And
job.
here's the thing. I have also I mean, I've been I should also mention that I've been an intern on political campaigns in the past, and so I,
Oh, cool.
completely completely agree. It is like a big commitment, and you
Mhm,
once you're there, and whether win or
mhm.
lose, you put your best foot forward, I guess you could say, and it's not all sunshines and rainbows. It's not the West Wing, basically.
No.
It is it is an actual. I mean, that's like really a really bad analogy, but like,
And
it is
and
an
I
actual
started out
work.
on my own. Like I started out on my own. I my roommate was my campaign manager at the beginning, and it took like me, like in the beginning I was doing almost all the work, and not just going to events, not just speeches, but like all of the behind the scenes stuff as well. And the behind the scenes stuff takes more time than like actually campaigning. So but over time, like more people started paying attention to what I was doing, and I was able to gather a small team of volunteers that were able to kind of help me get through the primary, and now help me get through the general. So so it it can be a lot of work, and I think that's kind of why people in the beginning were kind of like, are you sure you can do this? And I don't know about you, but when somebody tells me I can't do something, and I kind of try to do it anyways just to prove them wrong.
Mhm.
But I'm like, oh, you tell me I can't do this, watch me. um
Yeah.
but
Watch, and you will
yeah,
see how wrong you proved everybody, or how right you proved everybody, and
right,
how in their face you're gonna have to be when you win,
right.
and it's gonna be
And
just be like, "See? I told you. I told
mhm,
you. Who's
yeah,
laughing now?"
and
That kind
you
that's
know,
what
a
that's
lot
what
of
I would do.
people.
I mean, it's like weird with my personality. It's just like, it's like I would sort of be in your face, be like, "You know what? You tried to doubt me? Here's a person who's still I'm the person you're the person still standing." So,
And like, and I think
I didn't
also
mean to cut you off
people.
there, by the way.
No, 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 you're fine. I think also people don't understand that like running a political campaign is not always about winning.
Mhm.
Sometimes it, I'm thinking of what Cori Bush. She had to run like twice before she actually won. Um, and
In my state
so,
of Missouri, just
right,
for she's
right.
St. Louis, and I'm Kansas City, but she represented, I think, was it St. Louis? But still
Right.
my home state, Missouri, more or less.
And so sometimes running a campaign or running as a candidate is not always about winning. And sometimes it's about doing everything you can to get your name and your message out there, working your working your ass off. But
It's
even if
okay,
I
like I said,
don't,
you can swear here. You're allowed to
yeah,
swear, don't worry about it.
even
Go
like,
ahead.
even if I don't win, that's okay because I will run again. And next
You made
time I'll be even stronger.
Yeah, exactly. You made a difference the first time, and people actually got to know you. So if you hypothetically make a second run for the position for the campaign, you will have a lot more. I don't want to say name recognition because that sounds a little corporatist, but people basically will know you. They will remember
Hmm.
you. Um, they will remember how much of a grassroots message that you had, and
Hmm.
they will give you a second chance. And I say
And
they as in potential voters.
right. And like, even with like little to no name recognition, I exceeded my goals in the primary. I wanted to get 5,000 votes. We got 5,500 votes. Um,
Not
I,
bad.
yeah, and I got 21% of the vote. So I am feeling cautiously optimistic about the general, and I've put in the hard work. I have done my best to make sure that people know where I stand on the issues. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I especially in the last couple weeks called out my opponent for refusing to debate me, to do a town hall
Yeah,
with
share a
me.
stage. Yeah, like I
Hmm.
said, he just crawled away, like a little. Is it
Yeah.
bad to say lapdog? Because I mean,
I'm sure, I'm sure that like somebody told him it was a bad idea, I think.
yeah.
And like even after I got the email where he told me no, I was like I persisted, and I emailed him
Mhm.
back and I'm like, look, dude, I think this would be beneficial for both of us. Um, you hardly ever talk about the issues that you support. You talk in generalities, um, and people deserve to hear the specifics. That's part of being a candidate. That is
Mhm.
part of being a
Mhm.
candidate for any
Yep.
political run. Like, you should be able to sit down with your opponent and um, defend your policies.
Yep.
And if you can't do that, um, you know, then what's up? The
Yeah, like,
last
what's the
time
point?
he ran, the last time
Oh,
he
go
ran in
ahead.
2022, he ran against a Republican incumbent. So this is the
Mhm.
first time that he has had to run against someone to the left of him. And
Mhm.
so I've made it clear throughout my entire campaign that like I am a democratic socialist. I am to the left of this person. And
Right.
if elected, these are the things that I will fight for. um, you can't call yourself a progressive and then say that we need to fix the system we have. Like,
Right.
fuck the system we have.
Yeah.
Fuck the
The
system
system
we
we have
have.
not's working. Yeah, it's not working for any minority groups, and that includes, like, the LGBTQIA plus community, people of color, people with
Hmm.
disabilities, like the three main, I would say. If I'm leaving any other minority group out, let me know. Uh, that system is not working for those groups at all. Period. And particularly us, and as people of fellow minorities, as people who have disabilities, it's like we've had to see a system basically tear us down, and that system is getting
Exactly.
people that are of the duopoly of the two-party system elected and reelected over and over again, and it's
And
just
people
really,
wonder why
really
nothing
disgraceful.
changes. And
Yeah,
people wonder why
absolutely,
nothing
absolutely,
changes. And it's like,
absolutely.
I don't mean to like put the onus on voters, but when you keep electing the same person or the same group of people over and over again, and they like don't do anything, like one of the questions that I have asked voters throughout my campaign is, what policies that Julio has supported have directly helped you? And I mean
Hmm.
in a tangible way. Has he given you
Hmm.
better health care? Has he um has he fought to uh uh put more money in your wallet? Has he
Hmm.
done anything to try to make housing more affordable? Which he has. He's done a little bit, but I when people ask me like why should I vote for you, I turn around and I say, okay, but what has he done in the last 2 years that has directly helped you? I have policies that will directly help you, policies that you will see a difference. You will see a change in your everyday life. You will get free healthcare. You won't have to pay a copay. You won't have to pay a deductible. I will fight like hell to get a statewide UBI. Um, I will, fight like hell to, give people what they need. And that's why, I'm really trying my best to look out for the working and middle class, because that is the group that needs to be uploaded, or um, uploaded, uplifted, and
Yeah.
and the wealthy needs to pay their fair share.
Oh yeah. Yes, yes, yes. That is the big thing with me, is that the wealthy are getting much, much wealthier, and they pay very, very little in taxes. I'm very sure of that. Like I know I really can't prove that we cannot prove that, but we can just assume that the
Oh, I
rich
mean,
are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and that's the
there
other
are
thing that
ways to
needs
prove
to
that,
be
though.
changed.
There are ways to prove that. I mean, um, if you look at statistics, if you look at how much more profits corporations and the wealthy have made, even since the pandemic,
Mhm.
their income, their profit margin has skyrocketed.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure.
and it's the working that, and we're middle class, that is supporting that. We're the ones that are footing that bill. um and that is why I um would like to do things to um you know make the wealthy and corporations within Washington state pay their fair share.
Mhm.
And like, somebody asked me once, like, well, wouldn't they just leave the state if you do that? And I'm like, maybe, but not all of them are going to leave. Like, Microsoft has been here forever. Boeing's been here forever. Amazon's been here a long time. They're not going to just up and leave the state. Like, that's highly unlikely. So,
Right.
um, and I just want them to pay their fair share of taxes. That's all. And same goes for wealthy individuals. Like, it's ridiculous that we have 13 billionaires and like 50,000 millionaires in Seattle alone.
Mhm.
um and all I'm saying is that we need to reform the tax code within the state to make sure that the wealthy are paying their fair share in taxes, and
Yep.
that it is not a burden that is, exclusively placed on the working and middle class. So,
So, I mean, yeah, just literally, you know, that was a really long answer. That was like you took an hour for. I had like literally 11 questions. So I'm gonna have to like cut some of these down because that was a really
okay,
long
well,
answer
go ahead, go
to the
ahead.
freaking question. But that was great. That was great. I mean, that was literally just like the best hour-long answer to a question that I could get. So, if anything, that was fabulous. That was awesome. Because like because a lot of it kind of also just kind of segued into the questions I was going to ask next, which was like
Okay,
some of
let's
them are like
go.
questions, some of them are like statements, but like the focus of your campaign more than your opponent, your corporate democratically funded opponent, has been basically everything that you've just said:
Hmm.
healthcare, helping the unhoused. I have it written down here, like the living wage. A lot of what your campaign website is also promoting, like what you are going to do as a candidate, as a person who is elected, running as a candidate. And so, like, you've also used places for platforms, I should say, like Twitch. You are, as I say, the disabled proletariat. I hope I said that right, on Twitch, which if you don't, go follow. I did the whole thing yesterday. Yesterday, as I was promoting this, please go give Annie a follow, because I watched a Twitch channel, I think the day before yesterday, and it was really great. I think I've actually kind of lurked, like, confession, I've lurked in your Twitch just to kind of watch the show, and like not really, like, when I discover a leftist, like, content creator, like, in a new way, I tend to like just watch the channel and observe before I start, engaging and interacting in chat and whatnot. So, but like, you've used platforms like Twitch, like YouTube, like TikTok, to engage with potential voters, like you said, because you're not able to do the things like canvassing, door knocking, phone banking. You've used the alternative. And so,
which, by the way, with phone banking, real quick,
yeah.
So I'm gonna knock my local Democratic Party a little bit.
Knock away.
What?
Knock away. Don't worry.
So they decided that they were going to endorse the incumbent in January of this year. On January 28th, I sent them an email and I asked, what's the process for asking for endorsement? And they responded, we've already endorsed the incumbent, which is ridiculously early to be endorsing an incumbent. So, like, some people don't know that they're really going to run or start really working towards a run until maybe March, right? Because it's not until early May that you have to register as a candidate and like pay the like candidate fee and all that. The reason I was not able to do phone banking is because you have to ask the local Democratic Party for the okay, and if they turn you down, then you have to go to like the county Democratic Party and ask the county Democratic Party, and then they have to turn you down. Then you can go to the state Democrats and say, hey, I've been turned down access to Vote Builder, which is the primary system that is like used to do phone banking, which, by the way, it's also behind a paywall. So whether I use Vote Builder or I use a different system, it's going to be like $2,000 out of my campaign pockets. So I didn't have, even if they had approved me, I didn't have the funds for that anyways. And so like, it's ridiculous that they put this kind of information behind a paywall, because all it is like a list of Democratic voters within your district. That's all I was asking for, so that you can do things like text banking, so that you can do things like phone banking. So that's another like big issue, because if you don't have that campaign cash, then you're not getting access to that, whether it's Vote Builder or the alternative software that's available. So it that's just another way that they make it difficult for progressive candidates to run. Hi, Big Cat.
Yeah,
So
a friend.
Oh yes,
I've interacted with them in different YouTube leftist chats. So I'm happy that you're here, BCat. Good to see you, friend.
Yes, absolutely. So, anyways, I just wanted to point that out real quick too, because that's when you're running a grassroots campaign and you're accepting only individual donations, it can make it really difficult if nobody knows who you are. It can make it really difficult to raise that money to have enough funds to like get access to these systems.
Yeah. Um, Man, I had so many questions, and I think I'm gonna have to like cut some of these down.
Okay,
Um,
no
so
problem.
I guess like one of the questions I had also, like, if there was hypothetically a debate with
Mm-hmm.
you and I keep forgetting his name. Forgive
Julio
me.
Cortez.
Julio Cortez. If there was a debate, if he said, first of all, when is the election? When is the
It's November 5th.
November 5th? Okay,
Yeah.
so not a lot of time, obviously. So probably
No.
like this question would probably be useless. But hypothetically, let's just say like the day before the election, he decided like, "Hey, do you want to do a debate?" Like, and you said yes. Like, how would you argue your side to the local voters, um, as opposed to his side, basically? I mean, you pretty much got the majority of the great grassroots people who
Mm-hmm.
are supporting you and say they're going to vote for you, but like on a much wider scale, where again, like his pockets are already filled with
Mm-hmm.
corporate donations from all the people that you basically listed. Um, how would you, as an outsider candidate on the left, I probably even say, if it's okay to say, on the far left, as I
Mm-hmm.
also identify myself as, I'm more farther left than the milquetoast liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, absolutely.
how would you argue basically your side to local voters?
Well, one of my campaign slogan is your district, your rep, your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my volunteers, when we were talking about this, she mentioned that, like, so your policies, your race are about giving, like, providing people equity and
Mm-hmm.
dignity. And she was absolutely right. Like, every single one of my policies is about giving the working and middle class more equity and more control over their own lives, and giving them the power to do the things that they want to do. Um, by giving them health care, by thank you, BCAT. Um, thank you. Um, yeah, by providing health care, by you know making sure that our education system is funded, and that especially that disabled students within our school districts are taken care of, because right now that is not happening.
Yeah, I right there, because as a person who lived through ableism in the school system as a student with a disability when I was much younger, although when I was too young to notice it back then, as a 32-year-old, I definitely notice it now, and I wish I
Hmm.
had there was something to do about it back in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, when I was a
Hmm.
student in elementary school.
Yeah. I To be honest, like, I've heard from multiple parents of disabled children that the various school districts are denying the their children an education. Um, I I talked about it a little bit on my last stream where I shared a news story about a family at Joint Base Lewis McChord, which is down kind of in the Tacoma area. So that's like south of Seattle. You would think that on a military base that you would get like premium care. And you know, their children were not allowed to not able to attend school, and it took getting the local news station involved for the school district to come around and provide these two disabled young girls who for disability reasons could not attend school in a normal setting and needed to do school at home. It took more or less getting like the local news station involved for them to agree to take care of these students. And I have heard from multiple parents with similar stories. And it's a real problem because they're mandated, school districts are mandated by law to provide all children, regardless of disability, with an education. And it's, in many cases that's not happening. So we, in school districts like the one in Marysville, are having to make major budget cuts. I mean, that's a whole story in and of itself. I won't get into that now, but
not at all.
But
It's fine.
Basically, my campaign is about helping people get the things that they need, helping people to get health care, helping people to remain financially independent, providing a living wage, providing, enhancing and updating our social safety net programs so that less people fall through the cracks, because that happens way too much. I mean, a lot of those systems are 30 plus years old, and they're basing things like income limitations on like a 30 plus year old model, which is ridiculous.
Right.
So, it's ultimately about giving my constituents what they need to succeed in their own life and giving them the dignity and the independence to do so. And also about like reining in corporate employers, reining in corporate landlords to make sure that they are held accountable for when they treat people, when they treat renters or their employees poorly. It's about giving the working class and the middle class more power within Washington State.
Sounds like a decent answer to me. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna go and kind of condense some of these other questions.
Sure.
So I actually wanted to ask you how you would fight corruption in the two-party system, basically locally. I know, but that probably is a difficult thing to answer because we really don't know, do we? I mean, it's just we don't know until we know, basically, to be honest. So, and actually, the reason why I'm looking down is because I'll just show it on camera. I wrote questions.
It's all good.
I was prepared, so
I figured that was it.
I take notes and stuff because, like, if I don't write stuff down, I will easily lose focus. And so, if I'm looking down, I'm just looking at my next question that I want to ask.
No problem.
So, but some of these questions actually are like regarding people with disabilities in politics, and this is what I really wanted to get into. So I'll try to condense it
Sure.
down. Which was like why and how, if you can answer this, like do you believe it's difficult for leftist, especially minority groups and people with disabilities to get elected into office, even into local state offices like what you're doing? As a person with a disability, how would you combat the ableism that is in party politics today in society?
Oh,
And
wow.
the greed the greed of systems, especially in jobs and housing for folks who are disabled, is very low on the totem pole, despite the programs like this thing we have called Ticket to Work for
Mhm.
people with disabilities to find a job. And how should that change in the political system?
Wow. Okay, that's a loaded
Yeah,
question.
I mean, very loaded. I again, forgive me, when I was writing these questions down, I was like thinking real hard and like, is that something I should be asking? Really? Like I was having a lot of self doubts. Oh,
Oh,
Pitch.
no, these are good
Pitchfork
questions. These
Dragon
are
says in the chat, says if it'll come up, if it will come up, comment. Well, I'll just read it because for some reason the chat is not my. There it is. Writing down questions is professional, not something you should apologize for. I would
it
agree,
is.
Pitch. Totally agree, Pitch. It's just again, it's where so I can keep my focus and not like I know in this interview we kind of did go off topic. I tend to stick to the notes, but sometimes once I get into the mood of interviewing street and to doing interview streams, things do tend to go off the rails a bit. So
It's
yeah,
all
I
good.
mean, that is a loaded question. So, you could probably just give me your best answer in a few sentences if you can.
Yeah. So, first we need to encourage more people with disabilities to run and get involved. And I'm hoping that my run might encourage other people to step up and try it. Um, we again, like if we want more representation, then we have to run. Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
bottom line. And because like I was saying earlier, ableism is everywhere, and even
Yep.
the most well-meaning disability ally, is not fully going to understand what people with disabilities need. So um I we need more equitable representation across the board. um it's a lot. It's harder, it's more challenging to run as someone who's disabled, especially
Mm-hmm.
because I have multiple disabilities, and I've had to kind of like basically pave my own way this whole time. It's like, I'll tell you right now that like sometimes, like the Friday the week before, I still don't know exactly what I'm going to do the following week, or what kind of campaign engagement that I'm going to do. So it you got to think outside. You got to be able to think outside the box, and
Mm-hmm.
find things that work for you. So for me, like I said, for me, door knocking wasn't going to work. That is a huge part of most campaigns. That is the way, like one of the best ways we have, um, when you're running as a candidate to get the public, tell the public about you. And I knew that that wasn't really going to work for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to find other avenues. But I think the first step is deciding, like, okay, which office do I want to run for? What do I think I can do? I chose this particular office because I felt like it was an office where I could make a difference to the most people while still, being as kind of like a starting off point, the start of a political career. I'll tell you what, I had some people tell me, oh, why didn't you run for, like, county board, or why didn't you run for city hall or something like that? And it's like, because I didn't feel like I would be able to make the impact in my community that I wanted to, running for a more localized office. There's nothing wrong with that, but I chose this particular office because I felt like I would be able to make the most impact.
Right.
So, so if we want that representation, we have to be willing to step up and not expect it to be given to us. And as far as like challenging power once elected, once in office, well, one way I plan to do that is by not taking no for an answer. I don't,
Good answer.
I'm of the attitude that, you know what, I don't care if I get censured. I don't care if, I get like negative input from co-workers within the legislature. I will fight for the things that I think are best for my district and for the state. And I will not give in to pressure. I'm a very stubborn girl. So, like, if you tell me no one way, then I will find another way to make sure that it works. And so, yeah, so I mean, it's really hard to answer that part until I'm actually in office and like
Right.
have a better like idea. But honestly, that's how I feel. I'm a very stubborn girl and I don't give up easily. So so I will make sure that my voice is heard, and I will do whatever I need to do to make sure that these policies are worked upon. Like, universal health care has been something that has been sitting within our state government for years. It wasn't until 3 years ago that a commission was formed to work on that. So, and it's like, okay, but like, Washingtonians need this now. Why is this taking so long? So, like, those are the kinds of things that, like, I'm going to challenge, and hopefully I can get, put on that committee if I'm elected. But no, I am a Capricorn. I guess I am a Capricorn. But
I'm a Gemini, unfortunately.
Yes, I'm just a very stubborn Capricorn. But yeah, I mean, it's really hard to know how I'm going to fight opposition until I get there. But it is certainly something that I'm willing to do if it means,
I had to
bringing.
respond to Atticus with this. I actually had to be honest. I hope you don't mind that.
No.
I hope you don't mind it.
No. I have my own issues with Jank. I faced disability discrimination when I volunteered at TYT many
Yeah.
years ago.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, yes.
Wow. I mean, like, Forbzilla is in the chat, and she and I were, I'll just say, I'm pretty sure you know, that we were both former moderators for their YouTube channel, and we left
Mm-hmm.
a year. I think it is about a year and a half ago that we left because there was just a lot of drama about Anna Kasparian and
Oh
the mods
yes.
not getting their we were basically working for unpaid labor, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a really bad. Uh, she says, "Sup, I'm here." Of course, you've been here this whole time, Forbes. I mean, I'm glad that you're here. I'm really, really glad that you're here. I'm glad a lot of people are here. Um,
Yes.
she's playing. I won't put that up, but she's playing Oblivion. I can't say it while she's listening. It's cool.
It's
It's
all
cool. It's cool. Oh yeah.
good.
Also, like, definitely, like, we overworked, underpaid. We were just not getting our fair share. We weren't getting what we deserved, and it
Absolutely.
made us really decide what we wanted to do. I mean, we did the
Mm-hmm.
right thing in the end. So yeah,
Yes.
I look back
Yes.
1 year later and I'm like, no regrets whatsoever. And now it's like with Anna, like, I don't mean to go on a TYT tangent here, trying to go off subject again, but with the way Anna Kasparian is like pivoting towards the right even further with her
Oh yeah.
Substack and her
She
podcast.
might as well just like start her own like podcast, like right leaning podcast or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, not yeah, and like good. That's terrible. But if that's what she wants
Yeah,
to
you know
do,
what I mean.
yeah, that's what she wants to do. I mean, have at it. There's not going to be a lot of people that support you for that. At least the common sense people. Um, I also should say this. Yes, exactly. I agree, Forbes. You're a stubborn woman, and we need more of those. Yeah, we do. We need a lot of uh like stubborn, like meaning well, like talk as they are people, leftist people in office. Tell it as it is, basically. That's what I was going for. Tell it like it is,
Hmm.
leftist folks in office like yourself. I mean, hearing this, I mean, not to like, throw my ego out there, but I kind of had like at some point an aspiration to run for public office, but like
Do it. Do
uh
it.
I don't know. Well, I mean, like, I would do it if like I had the ambition. Like, I mean, I
Mm.
kind of have the ambition, but oh, thank you, Atticus. If the comment will pop up. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Um also, yes, of course, pitchforks. And also, I wanted to throw this up there from Forbzilla. Women aren't angry or bossy. We just know what we want and know how to fight for it. Yep. Couldn't agree
Exactly.
more. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. I agree. I honestly agree 100, 1000%. Um, so yeah, I mean, like, I've had that aspiration to run for public office, but it's just been kind of like, you know, I do have the passion to do it, but I've also been kind of like, the way that the political campaigning, the way that some people in the media are, the way they treat, outsider candidates. It's just I have like very mental I have a mental my mental health is would be affected. I'll just throw in
Yeah,
the
the media
comments.
the media
Applying
has
pressure for
like
you to run for
the-
okay, Addie. You're
like
applying pressure for me to run for office. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
the
well,
local the the local media has kind of ignored me. Like they've only interviewed me like twice. Once during the primary and again during the general just a couple weeks ago. So like, you know, it hasn't really like affected my campaign that much, but yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, it's totally fine. Like it took me a couple years to really decide that this was something that I wanted to do. And that I it took me a little while to like put some thought into it to figure out like, okay, like I literally took a quiz to on a like progressive candidate website to help me like decide which office I wanted to run for. And um so it took a little time for me to like feel like, okay, now I'm ready. Like now I'm ready to step up. Now I'm ready to put my name and my face out there. And uh, so it's all good. Like
Yeah.
if you'll know when it's time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can probably say that I would be as we could both equally say. Hold on, so you can hear me. We could both equally say that we would be 500, maybe no, not that much, like maybe 10,000 times better than Jank Uger at running for office. just putting it out there. If Jank sees this, which I know he won't, but if he sees it, he knows damn well that I would, if I were to run, I would be much better at running. We equally would be much better at running for office than him. So, just saying that, Jake. Just throwing it out there, Janky. At least we know how to run for public office. We don't need folks like yourself to be like, just brag about your public image or whatever. I mean, because we know, we know. And the fact that he knows that we know that he knows that he knows that we know what he's up against.
Yup. Definitely.
Just saying. Okay, so we can finally condense these final because we've been going for almost an hour. We've been going for like half an hour in this also.
Yeah.
Forbes makes a good hold on. Forbesilla also makes a good point. He just thinks we're weirdos on Twitter with anime profile pics who want clout. And yes, I'm still mad about that comment. Yep. You have every right to be mad. So
yeah,
I'd be mad too. Still, Forbes.
Totally understandable.
I don't know. I'm not very good with having anime pics in my I usually use my is that puppy?
Yes.
Oh,
This is
we're
Ellie.
so lucky to have animal. I wish I had. I mean, like, I can have animals, but it's like, it's
Say
too
hi,
much.
Ellie. Say hi.
What's her name?
Her name is Ellie.
Oh.
She's my little streamer buddy. She likes to come into my lap every so often when I'm streaming. So
it's like probably a few streamers that I know who actually have like what they would call safety animals, security animals for them. That's another thing with people with disabilities. We all have our security animals. I'll just keep throwing comments up there. I'm happy playing low key video games and being angry. My screen name is my effing last name, for God's sakes. Oh. Right on, Forbes. I guess I should just kind of quickly just get these last two questions. Well, this last question and then we'll be finished. What do you hope to, I guess, achieve in running this campaign? And then you can plug all your socials and streaming and basically.
Well, obviously I want to win because I want to serve the people within my district and within my state. that is like obviously goal number one. But
Mhm.
I if I don't win, I'm still going to continue trying to serve people
Mm.
within my community.
Yep.
I'm actually I tried to start this during the campaign, but then I just didn't have the capacity to do it. But I'm working with a couple of people to start a progressive alternative coalition, and within Washington State, and the goal of that is going to be um, providing progressive candidates a support system, and hopefully at some point provide like some training and some education services to help people run. Um, as primarily, obviously, people on the left, and because the Democratic Party within my state, within my local district, has not acknowledged me at all. Um, they uh, they essentially put all of their focus and all of their work behind the incumbents, and so I've pretty much like had to figure out everything that I've done throughout my campaign are things that I've had to pretty much figure out on my own. And I thought that if like I saw other candidates, like I have friends who ran in the Green Party locally, and
Mhm.
and I saw that they were getting support from their party. Their party was helping them raise money. Their party was providing them with services, and they were able to access help and training that I could not as a Democrat candidate. And
Mhm.
it's like, you know what? Like, I had like no party support. So I want to make sure that progressive candidates that choose to run in the future have that support system within Washington State. And so that's one of the things I plan on working on as soon as this election's over and I have a little bit of a break. We're going to start working on that. And um, so, that's just one way that I will continue to try to serve my community and support other progressive candidates. And who knows? Maybe, if I don't make it this time, I will certainly run again. That's a
Yeah,
given.
for sure.
But in the meantime, I will continue to do some of the things that I started doing in my campaign. I will continue to try and be a voice and an advocate for the disabled community within my district. I will, there are certain things that um, like I have worked together on. Like I was endorsed by a local PAC called the Developmentally Disabled Ally PAC, so the DD Ally
Mhm.
PAC, and they have a they have. She's like, I'm demanding too much petting. She wants too much petting.
Oh,
Um,
no,
so
it's fine. It's
so
animals need a lot of love.
yes. So
Animals need
she's like,
lots of
you've been
love
streaming for, yeah, she's been like, you've been streaming
for
too
half an
long and
hour.
ignoring me. But um so they have a policy that they're working on, because in Washington State, parents of disabled adult children can be paid as caregivers for their adult children with
Mhm.
disabilities. However, parents of minor children cannot currently. And so the DD Ally Pack is working with other groups within the state of Washington to try to push a law that would allow parents of minor children to be paid as caregivers, which is really important because there are kids with more severe disabilities require 24-hour care, and it can be really difficult to find a caregiver to provide that service. So lots of times parents of these kids end up not being able to work a normal job because they have to take care of their kid, and they deserve to be paid for that. Um, so, so I'll continue to advocate for that. I'll continue working on universal health care with whole Washington. In fact, tomorrow afternoon, from like 1 o'clock to about 2:30, we are doing a universal healthcare die-in outside the Everett Municipal Building. So I'm gonna dress up like a zombie, and because lack of healthcare makes me feel like a zombie. So and I'll be speaking. We'll have Andre Stackhouse from Whole Washington speaking. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I will continue to do all of that kind of work as well because I want to serve not just everyone, but especially underserved communities within my area. So
yeah.
And then
Sounds like a good answer. Yeah.
yeah, and then Tuesday night I will be having my own little election party at a local cafe that serves good pizza and subs and beer and all that great stuff.
All that stuff.
So
That's like that's how I live my life. Pizza, deli, subs, and beer. That's like, although I should probably not drink as much, but the pizza and sub thing does like, yeah. I guess you could say I'm like a sociable drinker. Like I'm very responsible.
Yes. I wouldn't expect you to be any different. Yeah, no, I only drink socially too. So, and
It's always
I'm a
good in
lightweight.
moderation.
Yes, yeah. I'm a lightweight, so I have to be moderate. But yeah, I will, regardless of what happens on Tuesday, I will well, technically we probably won't know until later in the week, but you know, I will be happy if I get anything above 21%. I will be happy if we get more than 5,500 votes. So, you know, it'll just help me further spread my message and spread the word about all the things that I care about and am doing organizing on. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
So, let me pitch my stuff real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah, do the whole go it. The last thing was to plug your socials, plug where they could find you.
Yes.
You're obviously a Twitch streamer, so
yes. Hey guys, hey chat. If you are not following me on Twitch, I will come and haunt you in your dreams. No, just kidding.
So yeah, Freddy Krueger there for a minute.
No, I'm literally 15 followers away from affiliate status. I've only been streaming on Twitch for about a month, and in that first month we got 35 followers. So if you are not following me on Twitch at the Disabled Proletariat, please follow me so that I can reach affiliate status soon, because my Social Security benefits just got cut, so I need the money.
Yeah.
and then I'm
which is
also just
terrible.
yes,
Which is
yes.
terrible.
Um,
But
I'm
sorry, I didn't mean to
also
cut you off there.
no, you're good. I'm also the Disabled Proletariat on YouTube. You can
Which I
follow
also
my
subscribe to you, by the way. Again,
yay.
sorry for the cut. Sorry for the cutting you off. I
No,
just have to point all
you're
these
fine.
things out. And
You're fine. On Twitter, probably my biggest social media accounts are like Twitter and TikTok. So on Twitter, I'm at Annie FITZWA 38. So Annie Fitzwa 38. And then on TikTok, I am at elect.annie.fitz. So if you are not following me there, please consider following me there as well. That is where you will see like the majority of like my campaign updates. Um, I think we're gonna try to stream the universal healthcare die-in tomorrow. So I've never done a stream from my phone, so that might be interesting. But yeah, so yeah, check me out on all of those places.
it'll once this thing is like progressed, once I do the edit, which will be tomorrow morning. I'm
Mhm.
also going to do this like a live to premiere, so people who didn't catch this when it was live can watch this as a premiere. I think
Awesome.
if not tomorrow, then Monday. So
Okay.
and that'll all be in like the will be in the description. So your Twitter,
Cool.
TikTok, your Twitch, obviously, will all be in the description for people to follow.
Awesome.
And again,
Awesome.
yeah. So best of luck to you, and fingers crossed on Tuesday.
Thank
I
you.
hope that the outcome is what it is, and I wish you and your campaign uh, all the best in the world, and hope that
Thank you.
again the outcome. So, and it was great to talk to you. Like I said, I've been watching you on. I saw you interview like again at the beginning of the stream. I said, been watching on the Letter Hack and on Jake's What Can You Do show, and was like, I gotta be the next person to interview. I've never. This is again. This is the first time I've done an interview stream where I've actually interviewed a far left, if you don't mind me saying, a leftist candidate
Mhm.
running for public office of any kind. And so this was a change. This was a new thing for me. I wish I had
You
gotten maybe dressed up a little bit more. I thought about
oh,
dressing
please.
up in a
I'm wearing a
blazer.
hoodie. It's all
And
good.
yeah, I mean,
I'm
I'm
wearing a
like in
hoodie.
socks and everything. I thought
Yeah.
about throwing a blazer on to maybe look a little bit more professional, and didn't really have much time because I waited until the last minute to write my questions because time just flies.
It's
Um,
all good, man.
but thank
You've
you
done
so
a great
much.
job.
Thank you so much, Annie.
Yeah, and
And
I
you're going
would
to be
love
streaming
to
after the yeah. Oh,
I don't know,
definitely go
maybe.
ahead. Oh,
um
so
yeah,
yeah,
let's talk again sometime after the election. I would love to, give y'all an update.
do a follow up.
And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um yeah, I might stream for a little bit. It's almost 9 o'clock here, but
yeah. It's
yeah,
10 my time, almost 11. I actually had to
yeah.
forego a movie night to do this, so I have to
Well,
apologize to
thank
my
you.
movie night group. But, um, hopefully, if we do another interview, it'll be in the day. I mean, because daylight saving time ends tonight, so hopefully,
Yep.
if we do a follow up, it'll be in the daytime. It'll be still be light
Yes.
outside. But
Yes.
then again, like this was kind of cool because I've done streams before at night, and usually people just like on Saturdays on the weekends there's just a good
Mhm.
decent amount of people in chat. And so if I did it in the daytime, I probably wouldn't get a lot of traction. So every time I
Yeah,
do
I
interview
actually
streams, it's like, how do you like uh what's the best day and time? And I'm like, maybe at noon. And then I don't get a lot of people and I'm like, yeah, you should probably chose a later time.
Yeah, I kind of like to. I've kind of like determined that I actually kind of like streaming more later in the day, simply because that allows me to get any work done beforehand, and I'm just more like alert and awake later in the day.
Yeah,
I'm not a morning person at all. So
neither am I. I've become, well, it depends on the day.
Mhm.
Depends on the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tend to sleep in a little bit more than I should, but because then I stay up late. You know, even at my age, at 32, I'm like, dude, you're not in your 20s anymore. You should go to
Oh,
bed at a certain time.
stop it. I'm an elder
I'm
millennial,
like,
so
no. Yeah, I'm a a millennial apparently that's closer to Gen Z, which, like I'm down with that. I'm not I accept that. Like I was born in 92, so if that's how it is, like peace. Like, yeah, I love that. I like that. Solidarity. But again, thank you so much. Again, best of luck to you on Tuesday. I hope that the outcome is what you expect it to be and what it should be, I should say. And basically you should win. So people out in Washington's the 38th district, go vote on Tuesday. I hate to actually
I mean,
be that type
if
of person,
like
but
we have mail-in voting
yeah,
here. So like if you haven't voted,
yeah.
like
So people have
what are you
already,
waiting for?
yeah. I'm younger than you, and I'm a millennial. That's what Ford is saying in all caps. I hope you're not yelling at me. Oh, hold on, let me try to pull the comment up. If it'll show, I don't know why it's not showing on my end. God, I hate this.
I saw it pop
I
up for
hope
a
she's not
second.
yelling. I hope she's not yelling at me though. I really do hope that she's not yelling at me. There it is. Yeah, I don't know. It's just with Restream. No, Atticus. She's not ageist. No, she's not. No, I don't believe that. I do not believe. Please, let's not start a flame war.
No. Like
Okay,
I'm an
let's
elder
not do
millennial.
that.
I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but
No,
I am an elder millennial, and so like
no,
it's all good.
no, no. I'm yelling out. No. Please don't yell at me. I mean, all I said was I'm a
No.
millennial closer to Gen Z, and I accept that. I've been told that by my former art teacher. Now I feel like now I feel like I messed the stream up. I'm in trouble. I'm in
You're
trouble.
fine.
I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm gonna have to answer later. I've been. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm feeling very like I feel like there's like a swarm of guilt, or not. If not
No,
guilt,
you're
like something.
fine.
Okay.
You're good. You're
Okay.
all good. I think she's yelling, but I see laughing emojis, so laugh
Yeah.
crying
Yeah.
emoji.
Okay. Okie doke. Let's let's maybe just end the stream. Well, I gotta raid somebody on Twitch, and I had the person I was gonna raid. I actually had no comment chick, aka Irene Geller, in mind because she's streaming. Where did we? Oh,
See, she loves you. It's all
no.
good.
I'm so. God. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, whew. Okay. Oh, okay. No, it's. I think sometimes I don't like I don't want to step on people's toes, and I just don't like I don't like hurting people's feelings and offending people because I know
I
honestly
completely
what that's like,
understand.
and so it's like I've had ableist slurs and stuff like thrown at me my whole life by older authority figures that I won't name, and so it's like that's really like um you know your only
I get
complaint
it.
is we didn't have a discussion about moo-moos. I'm not sure. I don't. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm following. Okay. Uh, every time we get ready to end the stream, and I'm looking at Twitch or the Twitch side, so I can raid somebody, so we can get out of here. If Vin's here. Oh, okay. We do have to. I mean, we do have to get out of here. We do have to end the
Yes,
stream very
yes,
soon. So
yes.
uh, let's let's just say I'm gonna go ahead and raid on the Twitch side. No comment chick, aka Irene Geller. But I will say thanks to everyone who showed, came up here and showed support, and yeah, I won't read all the names off. I usually do, but I don't know. Like my I don't know. This PC is kind of weird sometimes. I feel like this is probably gonna. I'm glad this didn't freeze up on me. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm going to end the stream. I'm gonna raid.
All right.
Let's see if I know how to do this. My friend Viting, a mutual friend of mine, and Forbzillas and Auticus and Pitchforks. I don't know if you know who Vitingale is. She's a trans Twitch streamer. She's usually in my chat helping me. Yeah, and since she's not here to show me how to raid. I hope I do this correctly. So underscore raid RAID. Darn it, come on. Or I think it's my PC. Okay. Let's see.
All right, I'm gonna log off, but you have a
Alrighty.
wonderful night, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. And chat, please go follow me on Twitch.
Yes,
and
please follow Annie on Twitch. So
yes,
that,
thank you, chat.
Yeah, and I think you can just like end the stream on you can just disconnect on your end. Or actually,
okay.
I can just do this. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So thanks to everyone who showed up. And I'm going to a mod from the Pay the Mod. Yes, definitely V was from our era pitch. I'm a little tired. I might sound a little tired now, so I'm actually going to start the raid by saying thanks to everyone who dropped in and said, and thanks to everyone who dropped in, and thank you, Atticus. I appreciate that. Thank you, Pitchforks. Thank you, Forbzilla. Thank you, Fuzzy. Thank you, BCat. Thank you, just everybody. Even if I don't name you, you know who you are. You keep this this stream going for me. It's your support and your appreciation that makes me want to keep doing this. And hopefully, I could do this and actually make a living so I can survive. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and send you over to Irene for the Twitch side. So there. So now, okay, good. Hey, thanks for everyone who showed up. I don't know actually until we came together this week. Probably Monday at 9 Central Time. If I can get up. Aside from that, I the next interview stream should be very soon. I don't know. I do not know. Oh, and if I stay on longer than read the comments, yes, thank you, Pitch, and thank you, Atticus, and thank you, Forbzilla, and thanks to everyone. But I really do need to end the stream and start rating people because we would like to do our usual hangout session later or after the stream. That's what I mean. So I will see you all, if not tomorrow, we'll see you Monday for another game stream.